Hey, it's hyperfixatious. Let's make my home more whimsical. Okay folks, I'm back again, and today I'm going to be extending on my window ivy that I did on my making my window more whimsical, which I'll put yep, you know it. So what I'm going to be doing is extending the ivy across. I'll put footage of the area here. Just the way I wanted to see these projects is I wanted it to sort of grow organically out from each other. I had originally intended to start from the bookshelf area and expand out, but we are starting from the window apparently. The way I want it to look is just that the ivy is growing more. I've got 2 more sets of the solar powered LED ivy light. I have 3 picture frames that I literally took down from that area, but what I want to do is repaint them, redesign them, and get them back up there with the ivy sort of. I want it to look like the ivy is beginning to grow through all of these things. I have my Fuck Ableism art print that I spoke about in my vlog from Oggy's Designs on Instagram. And what I'm going to do is design one of these frames up to incorporate the alien face on, I think, the corners of the frame. And yep, get that one up on the wall. I have my memory box that I spoke about all the way back in, I think it was my first Life Lately blog, perhaps. One of my craft projects that I did at the beginning of the year. And in here is an absolute shit ton of photographs. I want to go through these and pick out some to also fill out the area, and I'm going to select 2 that I want to go in frames as well. So that's the vague plan. I'm also wanting to create some more pegs like I did for the original window project, just to kind of keep that cohesive. I also need your guys' ideas for summer themed pegs that I can create for the ivy, because at the moment I'm thinking of just taking the flowers down and having the ivy plain for the summer. I'm not sure at the moment, but if you've got any ideas, do let me know. So I think that's the plan out of the way. And with that being said, the next step that I'm going to do is by customizing and painting the frames. So let's cut to that. So I've collated these pictures over the years. Places I've been, landscapes, flowers, just overall beautiful memories. I am so glad I got them printed, as I certainly would have lost them in some cloud storage somewhere. So I start by sorting them into portrait and landscape shots. I decided on a gorgeous springtime shot of a graveyard in my hometown for the landscape image, and chose a modelling shot of me from maybe 6 or 7 years ago that was taken outside Dartmoor Prison. I love the deep gothic tones of this one. So these are the 3 pictures for the frames, and I did a mini plan for each frame. So, starting with the Fuck Ableism alien. This one's going to be painted black, with little alien faces in the corners. Super simple, but fits the artwork. For the springtime graveyard image, I want the frame to bring elements of the image outwards, with the white border in between. So it's going to be essentially attempting to colour match the grass and the sky, and adding some cute 3D flowers and things into it too. And finally, the gothic drama. And for this one, I just want to again take colours from the image and just create a wider theme for the frame. So with this extra planning, it's time to go. I start by taking the backing and glass out of the frames. Beginning with the alien frame, I paint the corners green for the alien and then paint the rest of it black. I'll tidy up and add the faces later. For the gothic frame, I wanted to build up a dark, moody scene, so taking a turquoise and a blue, I'm building up some colour that will stand out against the deep black that I add afterwards. The main feel I wanted was some deep, stormy clouds, so once the main black is on, I'm stippling more blues and some silver into it. For the springtime graveyard, I'm starting with a blue for the sky and a green for the grass. Then I'm taking a yellow, and stippling some yellow into it to look like grasses. Then I'm adding some darker tones for shadow. Onto a second coat, and I'm really starting to build up these clouds onto the Gothic frame. And taking a fine brush, I'm adding more silver flecks to it, then buffing it into the colours with a dry brush. Another coat on the alien frame, making sure to cover the sides too, and giving a second coat to the green. Looking at the colours of the Gothic image, it has more of a yellowy tone to the highlights, so I mix some yellow into the silver and this really matches so much better. I then dry brush it in again just to soften it up and paint the sides black too. For the second coat on the springtime graveyard, I mix a yellow and green together and start building up the grasses with various shades. I also add a hint of silver clouds with a dry brush. Now to the alien frame's faces. I first sketch out the shape in pencil onto the four corners, then outline it with my black Posca marker. Now I can fill in the rest with black, leaving just the head shape. I then move into adding the features to each of the faces. Once that's done, I give each frame a coat of satin varnish and leave it to dry. And then once it's dry, I add the images, glass and backings back into the frames. One of my favourite elements of the springtime graveyard photo is the forget-me-nots scattered in the grass, and I really wanted to bring that out onto the frame and onto some of the pegs too. So I mix a purpley blue shade and paint it onto some paper. I'm not going for consistency, I want it to have different gradients, opacities and differences to bring extra detail, so I mix different variants of paint as I go. I do this on the front and back of the paper and then leave it to dry. Once it's dry, I cut that painted section out, and taking my flower-shaped punch, begin to punch little flower shapes from it. And I simply love how the different colours and shades look together. Then taking a gold gel pen, I draw little O's into the centre of the flowers, and immediately they look perfectly like little forget-me-nots, and I am obsessed. Then taking the end of the pen, I bend the flower around it, making the petals bend upwards and adding dimension. I then go through my craft flowers and pick out some for the frame. And it's as straightforward as hot gluing them onto the frame and onto the glass. The forget-me-nots are more fiddly, but they look so great. Taking my white Posca, I add some little dots and stars onto the frame and glass to match the alien artwork. And then, like many things in my life, I put all my trust in command hooks, adding 2 to the backs of each frame. And now, it was time to mount them. This was just a case of peel and stick. Once they were done, I blue tacked some more photos around the frames. Then it was time to add the little plastic hook style command hooks all around the wall to weave the ivy into. And then I start weaving the ivy in and around. This is free form. I'm adjusting it as it goes just to sort of get the shape and coverage that I want. I also wrap a tendril around the mirror too. Time to make some more pegs. So I trim up some flowers and start gluing. I am so in love with these forget-me-nots. And now all that's left is to add the pegs and do some final tweaks. And here we are. I am so happy with how this looks. The ivy is a bit chaotic, but so is actual ivy. I love this approach to filling this space, and I'm definitely thinking it may grow again. Honestly, I knew I was going to love this, but I do really love this. And I really enjoyed theming the frames to the photographs, actually. And I think that I do have some more photo frames hidden away somewhere. So I am also thinking of expanding it again. And it looks so gorgeous. And even like the evening when they start to switch on, chef's kiss. And who knows, I might make this one a bit more expansive as well, so who knows. As always, if you like what you see, give this video a like. If you want to stick around, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!